So it was the morning of November 16th, and Carter and I arrived early at the shop to get ready for our overnight bikepacking trip down to Okmulgee Lake. I was on the griddle making pancakes, getting people all carb loaded up for the adventure. People were rolling in slowly, getting some last minute items like nutrition and just getting their setups all dialed in. Something that I think is really awesome that we do as a shop is that we are trying to build this community of bikepacking in eastern Oklahoma, where there hasn't been very much of it as of late. And with that comes a bunch of people that haven't ridden very far, haven't camped very much, haven't ridden gravel, haven't done kind of combined all those to make up what is bikepacking. And then we also have some people that are like really experienced, have done some pretty epic adventures. So there's a lot of people coming together of all different skill levels and expertise. And I think when you combine something that is such a community builder and relationship builder, like being outdoors, doing something hard, like a hard bike ride, and like building those connections, it creates more connection than pretty much anything I've experienced with around cycling, which I think is awesome. And it just energizes me to do more and more of it, which as a shop we are really committed to doing. So as you'll see here in a minute, Brant has done a whole bunch of trips, but this is his first time doing a trip with us as a shop. He's from the Dallas area and is good friends with my aunt and uncle who helped SAG on the trip. And then you also have Brett, who's done 3 really cool trips with us as a shop. And it is just kind of awesome to see all these people come together. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the documentation of this trip.
Can I ask you about your bike?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. All right. Show me what you got. What kind of setup do you have?
So this is a Chumba frame that is made in a little boutique shop in South Austin. And I am carrying a Bedrock frame bag that's got some tools, my sleeping pad, some food. I've got my Big Agnes tent here, and then sleeping bag and clothes and some other food in my relevant tail bag, and that's it.
And how many of these kind of trips have you done?
Oh gosh.
As a group or individually?
As a group, I've done a few. I do a lot of my stuff kind of solo with a friend, and I do stuff all over the United States, anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks.
Okay, very fun.
Yeah.
Please tell us about your bike.
This is completely improvised, zip tied, and I just brought a bunch of clothes to stay warm and comfortable, because that's, I feel like, more important than food in some ways. And it's probably not well fitted for this type of thing, but it works.
Awesome. And how many of these rides have you done?
This is my 3rd.
Oh.
I did this same trip last year, and it was the most painful experience of my life, but also the most rewarding. And the one in Pawhuska, I didn't come near as close to finishing, but I think this time I'll finish.
And how much does the weather play a factor in enjoying it?
I think it's everything, because like being comfortable, you just don't want to be out there cold and in the elements. There's a rain forecast, even though it's slight. It's bounced around between 24 and 70% rain, and like keeping that off of you and not getting hypothermia is definitely a goal for the weekend.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we took off that morning, Everyone was in high spirits. Our ambitions were very high. And it wasn't long, honestly, before people's setups started falling apart. We needed to restrap some things that weren't tested very well. But kind of the bigger killer ended up being that there were a bunch of pretty punchy hills pretty early on in the ride, which also started really fracturing the group out. So I kind of hung behind, was helping people restrap stuff and get setups as best tied down as we could with what we had. And then Carter took a group off, kind of going a little bit faster. He was on a single speed the whole trip, so he could kind of only go one speed. So he was off, and so the group split up pretty quick. We had some people who not too long into the trip either started cramping and had to get picked up, or were dealing with some injuries previous to the trip and kind of decided that pretty early on that they weren't going to be able to make it the whole way. So as this is just one of those things where no matter how much planning you do, things never go all the way according to plan, and that's kind of one of the fun things. And also, as someone like myself who likes control, it can be challenging sometimes to adapt on the fly. But just coming in with the mindset of that this is just going to be an adventure, no matter how it goes. Even if everything goes perfect to plan, there's going to always be a margin for something being built in where like things are just weird. So that is cool. As much as it's frustrating sometimes, having the right mindset around like those are what make the stories. The stories come from those things that you can't ever plan for, that you never anticipated happening, and you figure it out. I think that's fun. Ultimately, the problem solving, the sort of joining together around it. So, these trips, I haven't been on one yet that it hasn't been something come up. So, and this one is no different. It just came actually really, really early on in the trip that things started fracturing apart. Once those things started happening, eventually we kind of entered into a bit of a groove where things started settling out a little bit more. So as you can see around me at this lake that I'm at, the sun is setting. The same thing was happening to us while we were out on the ride. We didn't have the luxury to hop off the bike and go in a nice cabin, but I do. So I'm going to take this inside and finish up the story in there. So we were on the bike for around 9 hours by the time the sun started setting on us, and it's kind of a weird thing that happens, in my opinion, where kind of in the time when it's almost the most beautiful to be outside. The sun is setting, especially where we were at. There's just big fields where you can just see for a long ways, and it's just all being lit up by that kind of golden light. No matter how in shape you are, being on the bike for 9 hours is a long time, and you just start hurting if you haven't already. And so just as your legs are sore, your whole body's just aching a little bit, you're just surrounded by beauty. I think people tend to not look at Oklahoma as a place that has a lot of beauty. And I don't know if that's just where we are within the country geographically, or there isn't a lot of documentation of it, I guess. But I tend to find it to be quite a beautiful place if you actually look around you. So yeah, we arrived to camp and it was pitch black. We all set up camp in the dark and made our food, headed to bed, and just tried to get as much rest as we could for the day ahead. We woke up the next morning, and a great way to not think about how sore my back is or how sore my legs are from camping or from the day of riding previous is looking out at this beautiful lake that we're at as the sun is rising. And we didn't really get a chance to enjoy it the night before because we arrived in the dark. So this is just a really nice sight to wake up to.
Okay, City Cycles reporter on the street here at the campground. What's going on this morning?
Well, we have some bikes that got a little bit messed up yesterday, so we're fixing these before we head out on the road.
All right, what's the particular issue with this one?
Well, it got on the stand because he had a bent derailleur hanger, but then also his brake was rubbing, so we're bending it back. A lot of bending. A lot of bending.
I hate those bent derailleurs. That's top. On Family Feud, top 4 answers: bent derailleur. So typically with gravel riding, do you see a lot of wear and tear?
Yes and no. No offense to Ryan, but he crashes a lot, so he particularly has issues. But in general, like the bumpiness and all that, just like things get out of adjustment fairly easily. So it's not the greatest, but not anything crazy.
As a middle-aged man, I understand getting out of alignment. All right, good talking with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good morning, Sam. I have a question for you. I know you're going to be taking a lot of hills and a lot of gravel. So what do you have on your bike specifically to help you with that ride?
We're rocking what are these? The Maxxis Rambler 650B 47s. Good climbing.
The 12 speed or?
No, 11.
2x11?
2x11. The GRX. Shimano.
Tell us a little bit about your gear, where you got all your stuff in the here.
Let's see. I guess it's party in the back, business up front here. Got the re-strap, hold my tubes, little quick food pack here. Pretty neat. Double bottles, got tools down low. Got food on one side, camping gear in the back, or the other side here.
How was the camping here last night?
It was great. It was good.
So I have a question. So I see different types of setups. Why do you go with the lot in the back, but you don't have anything in the front of the 2 tires? Like, what is the decision that you made, or did you try it and you didn't like it?
Yeah, no, I did have handlebar bag up front, and just for comfort of hands and grip. Last time I was just getting in the way, so I kind of sacrificed that. This here, just a quick access. I don't like a front heavy. Feels like it's not as nimble. So yeah, it is back end heavy though. She'll pop a wheelie on her own here. So maybe in the future I could get a little front rack and kind of better weight distribution on here.
I don't know that you have to. I just like to see. I love to see the different setups and why they have them like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great ride.
Thanks.
Hey, good morning, Nick. Can you tell us a little bit about your setup here, as far as your equipment on the bike, but also the bags and kind of where you had all your camping and overnight gear?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I ride a tumbleweed stargazer that the guys custom built for me. Mostly I just have these 2 Ortlieb waterproof panniers in the back. I just shove almost everything back there. I use a bowl strap on the back of this rack to hold down my sleeping pad and sometimes my tent as well. And it all works pretty great. It's a lot of weight in the back. I have a front rack that the guys installed that I'd like to, in the future kind of move a little bit of the weight forward to even things out. But it works real great for me now, and I have a Roadrunner feed bag right here, so I can pull my my charger out, look at my map, and have a few snacks in there.
Is that a 12 speed?
Yeah, it's so the guys custom built this, like I said. So The standard would be to put on a 1x11, and they installed what's called a ratio kit from Ratio Technologies, and so it fixes the way that the cable pull works up here, so that it allows me to have a really big disc and a really large 12th gear to get up those hills.
That's what I was wondering about the hills. It looked like, yeah, definitely help you with the hills.
Oh yeah, it was great. My last bike, I wouldn't be able to do this trip without the help of like putting on this extra gear, and really lets me stay seated and just power up those bad boys slowly.
Last question: what are you looking for? What are you looking forward to today on the ride back to Tulsa?
Just getting home and getting back to my bed and my family, I think. Yeah.
All right, good talking with you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here with Ryan. Ryan, tell us a little bit about your bike and what's on there as far as helping you deal with all the gravel you've been on yesterday and coming up today.
So I have a little bit of a smaller gear on the front, like a standard road bike. It'll usually have like around a 50 to a 54. That's a 48, I think, on the front. A little bit small on that, so it's an easier gear, so where you can kind of pedal a lot more efficiently. I also have much wider tires. They're also tubeless, so if you flat, it fills it in with some goo. Those are 42s, so I mean it just makes the rolling resistance a lot better on gravel. Just makes it a lot easier in general, but I think that's really all I have in terms of gravel. City Cycles also got me this sweet little bag holder on the back that's got bottle holders. They installed this cage for me. That's pretty sweet. That goes a long way, and yeah, they just put in a lot of work on this bike. I've been trying to get it built up since about February, and I'm really happy with my setup now. So
cool. So it looks like you got all your between the back and the front. You got all your camping gear, everything contained very well. Looks like. And in these bags here on the ground, those go on.
They also sold me these sweet panniers for my front rack. So I mean, I essentially just keep everything in those.
Right.
They go a long way with just like distributing weight the right way. So like otherwise it'd be in just different spots, and like having it all in one spot I feel like goes a long way. I used to have a frame bag, but I just use those panniers at this point and makes it a lot easier.
Sounds cool. Thank you. I'm here with Carter from City Cycles. Carter, tell me a little bit about your bike setup and kind of what specifically helped you go from gravel to road and gravel and back again during this trip.
Yeah, I'm running a single speed on this trip. I really wanted some simplicity and a fun challenge, so just one gear. I got a wolf tooth cog in the back and a Paul components, chain tensioner. Then I got big wide Pan-Eraser tires on here, like some nice 2-inch tires. And then I've got my Brooks leather saddle. These things are amazing. They're like super bouncy and comfortable. And then a lot of bags. I like a pannier setup, and then the other thing I have too is a dynamo hub. So I just have a generator hub that produces light in my front wheel, so I don't need to worry about charging batteries and all that fun stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, you can get all the stuff here at the shop, and we'll hook you up, lace you up a set of wheels, and you get a 6 single speed going for you.
And what are you looking forward to today as far as the second leg of the trip, heading back home?
Less climbing, for sure. Much less climbing, hopefully. Yeah, that's the goal. So yesterday was pretty brutal on my legs, but I think today we're going to have a nice tailwind at our backs, a little less elevation, so it'll be smooth sailing.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Aaron on day 2 of the Dripping Springs bike packing trip. Aaron, tell us a little bit about your bike and just what you experienced yesterday with the gravel and kind of what you're looking forward to today on the ride home.
Yeah, so I know it's a Liv, but that's really all I know about it. I got it used from another local bike shop that wasn't City Cycles, and I just bought it originally because I liked cycling and I wanted to get more into it. But then I found City Cycles and they introduced me to bike packing. And I thought I would go on this trip to test myself and see how far I could go. This was the first time I did gravel. It was also the first time I had tried to go 85 miles in a single stretch. And I'm disappointed that I had to quit at mile 35 before we even got to lunch. But I'm going to try to end this trip on my bike with just my bike and throw all my camping gear in the back of the truck.
Yeah, there were a lot of big hills early on yesterday. I've heard today the route is a lot flatter headed home, so hopefully that'll be good. So anything else you're looking forward to today with the ride?
I'm just going to try to have fun and see how far I can get again. I hope I can finish it on my bike and without needing to be picked up and carried for a little while, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best.
All right, best of luck today. I'm here with Aaron on day 2 of the Dripping Springs bike packing trip. Aaron, tell us a little bit about your bike and just kind of your setup and what you got going on here.
So this bike is an evolving piece of work. City Cycles does most of the mechanicking on it. I've owned it for quite a few years at this point. I have multiple bags that at different times go on for different configurations, different lengths of bike trips. But overall, it's just been a fun bike. The City Cycles just put these tires on about a month ago, so we're still trying those out, but they've been a really fun set of tires. They're smooth, fast, and again,
You did well on the gravel yesterday, these tires?
yeah, they were fast, really fast, a lot faster than the last set. I don't even remember the brand I had on there last time, but these seemed to be a lot faster, a lot smoother. And just overall, they did a tune-up on it recently, so it's again it's a fun, clean bike made for this kind of environment.
Yeah, awesome. I know that's about 50 miles back to the shop today, so anything, what are you looking forward to today as far as the ride back home?
Oh, just the camaraderie of riding with guys, and so often in this world we ride by ourselves on a lot of these gravel adventure kind of off-road scenarios, but on group rides like this, it's fun just riding with people, especially the ones that you don't know or you haven't met before, and just getting to know people.
Cool. Hey, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Off we went back to Tulsa, and I tend to find that on every trip that we've done, it seems like kind of average speed tends to be a little higher on day 2 than it does on day 1. I know on this trip in particular, we didn't have a headwind like we did on day 1. A little less hills, and also the route was a little shorter. So all that may have contributed to it, but I think it a lot of times tend to just be like people see the finish line in sight and kind of get motivated to get back home to their families or, their own bed or whatever. And so this trip was no different. And yeah, we kind of broke off in a couple different groups and everything, but everyone tended to make it back pretty well. It's a long time to be on the bike. It's 140 miles over a couple days, and you've camped in between there, so you're eating weird foods, and the trips are what makes them fun is that element, I think, of just like realizing like what you just did was cool, it was challenging, it was fun. Hopefully there were good memories, and some things that as you look back maybe a week later you can laugh at, and yeah, I enjoy these trips every single time I do them. If you are seeing this and haven't gone on a bike packing trip, I encourage you to go. They're not as hard as you think, and they don't have to be as epic as you think. Like just go camp close by after you've ridden your bike for a little bit. Just doing that, getting outside, experiencing that, I think can be positive, and it doesn't have to be that you have ridden, across the country in order for it to be a great time. So, on these, all we do is just an overnight trip. It's nothing crazy. So get out there, have a good time doing it, find some people that enjoy doing it with you, and maybe we'll see you on another trip here in the future.